Okay, this podcast is going to be very unscripted. I did nothing going on, and or I've got stuff going on, and I just needed to toss something up and make it so that I can post it before 4 day because I'm making it on the Tuesday. It's, yeah, I was busy over the weekend, busy last week, so I'm just gonna do something quickly here. So this is Ranker, and I have a few of the tabs open, and here's why. So I'm gonna make some videos that take my commander deck ideas, but then assigns the commander to a character from pop culture. I've got 3 tabs here. I've got or 5 tabs here. I've got cartoon characters, comic villains, comic heroes, video game characters, and then anime characters. Thought I'd go through like the top 10 just to show you what you might expect over the next few weeks. I just wanted to add something unique to my videos, and I always liked making commander decks based off of other characters. With Universe Beyond, you kind of get this feeling that there's what's the point of doing something like this? They're just going to release it eventually, right? And that's fair, but I wanted to go back to a time before Universe Beyond. And I guess, yeah, if Universe Beyond exists for that character, I guess there's no point in making it. Just because they exist. Maybe I'll do it anyway and show you this is the best character if you didn't want to use the Universe Beyond version. Let me know what you think below on that. But yeah, I thought it'd be fun to go through some of these characters and just talk to you about the formula and the foundation of how I handle designing a deck based around a character. So let's hop right into it with some cartoons. So let's talk Bugs Bunny, right? Bugs Bunny is, according to this, most popular cartoon character. And if you're wondering why I'm using Ranker, it's because it's individually voted upon. So for me, I kind of enjoy that. A lot of the other sites that would rank stuff like this they might be more, they're probably better formed than Ranker. Ranker gets a lot of things wrong, in my opinion, but it is popularity based, and I like that. Having the more popular individual, it might not be the best cartoon character, but it is ranked or voted upon the most popular for anyone who wants to go to the site. So someone like Bugs Bunny would be really interesting to me. And what your goal with finding a commander like Bugs Bunny or like any of these characters is to find 3 sets of stuff. You want to find its color identity, you want to find you want to define what the character does, and you want to define what the character's goal is, right? For Bugs, it's just having fun. He doesn't really have a innate goal in mind. He's just trying to outwit and outsmart others. His color scheme, and that's where a lot of stuff gets all over the place. And there's let me see if I can find that picture here. It's this guy. So this is what I'm using to identify colors. It might not be the best option, but it is an option, and it was relatively easy to get to. So what you're looking here is trying to find where the color is. Bugs Bunny doesn't have a morality or an order, and due to those, I don't think he's white, right? Logical and technology, I think Bugs Bunny could be considered logical. He is an intellect, kind of. He does think about stuff. He outsmarts a lot of people. So you could argue blue. I don't think he's black. He's not a parasitism or a morality. He doesn't selfishly do things. Although, maybe he does. He kind of selfishly just wants to have fun. And if that ends up harming other people, so be it. He's definitely impulsive and chaotic. We can give him red, and I think he is instinctively working on stuff. So he's at least green-red, and you could probably argue maybe selfishness for black. So you could probably go 3 color. And if you notice, a lot of times I actively look for making them 3-color. If I can't do 3-color, I'll drop down to 2. Unless they actively are like, no, this is like the definition of this, and they just don't have other stuff. But most characters aren't just a single color. The thing about characterisms is that characterizing legendaries in Magic the Gathering, and specifically in non-Magic the Gathering cartoons or media, is that they are more complex. Here's my keyboard. He's going. Is that they're more complex, and so one color is kind of like, this is just all they're known for. They're just known as the smart guy. They have nothing else going for them, or they're just known for being selfish, or they're just known for being impulsive. They're just known for relying on their instinct and being independent, or they're just known for law and order and having a moral sense, right? Those are boring. Most characters aren't that. Okay. Bugs Bunny isn't just one of those. If you wanted to break him down into just one, it's probably impulse and chaos. I would think he's really chaotic. He wants to just have a good time and everything. And then you add on, but like, he's not just chaotic. He also has this like independence need, this instinct of just wanting to be himself. Then you toss on that with this parasitism, amorality. I would say more amorality, right? Where it's selfishness above all else, or at the expense of others, right? That concept of him wanting to just be himself. And I don't care if other people get hurt. In my process of having fun, they're gonna get hurt. And he harms a lot of people who are after him, right? Now, maybe that's defensiveness. So, yeah, but because I like going 3 colors, you could probably toss black in there. I don't know if he's technically logical. I think he just outwits people, which is a little different than logic to a point. But that's the kind of concept that you have to go through. You have to kind of go through here and decide where you want them, and then you go through legends that are in there, and you have to think, okay, if you're going through legends, what I do is I go, ignore my stuff that pops up there, to H rank commanders, and let's say we were going to make him, you would go to Jund, and you would want to find a commander that fits him. Now, I'm not looking for a rabbit or a bunny, right? That's not the point here. And they're not going to look like him. This is supposed to identify with him, right? So if you go back, Bugs Bunny, what is Bugs Bunny known for as a character? He's known for being, for outwitting people. He's known for being fast, getting away from stuff, eating carrots. This is a bunny. And kind of overall just being, I don't know, I guess you could say a jerk in a funny way. Like, he's kind of a nice dick, just kind of like playing around with people, making them feel inferior to him. So you want to find something that can kind of relate to that. Or go the opposite way. What's his goal? And his goal is to have fun, right? So something like Corvold is all about injuring and attacking and sacrificing for. I don't think Bugs Bunny really sacrifices others for his innate goal, right? Neither does Hinsey really fit him. Hinsey's doing this thing where you're really like, each creature spell you cast with mana value 4 or greater has Blitz. So that's like kind of like a burn in the sun, right? No, because he has some friends, but Bugs is kind of a loner. And we're talking original Bugs here. We're not talking like Bugs from the newer stuff, right? He doesn't really care about lands. He's not a Legoif person. That one's real. This Legoif commander is very much like magic coded. You sacrifice a creature when you do. But I guess, yeah, like, he does sacrifice his opponents for the greater good, right? He doesn't have a bloodthirst. Unspent mana causes that player to lose that much life. He could be Urlock. I could see people arguing Urlock for him. He's vigilant. He knows what he's doing. He knows where he is. And then he's kind of like just throwing on a show like Urlock is here, where it's like, hey, you're going to get burnt if you don't do your job, right? If you overextend, you're going to get hurt. And he kind of punishes people for that, forcing them to overextend in an attempt to catch him, right? And yeah, like, I guess that's his goal is to get away from whoever's after him. So Urlock kind of fits that. if you wanted to go with that, and then you could build a deck around that. He's not Slimefoot. Why is my cat scratching on my thing? I don't know. He doesn't get stronger. He's not a Prosh. Whenever a creature you control with haste attacks, create a tap treasure token. He's not really getting money. Target opponent whose turn it's strike a non-legendary creature card from your grave on the battlefield. No. Cards as long as there are 4 more cards. No, not doing that. Honestly, you could go Thantis too, just that chaotic need of having everyone attack, because they're all after each other, right? So everyone's going after, but he's vigilant. He knows what he's doing. He's around, and if a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, no matter how many are attacking, he gets bigger. So no matter how many people there are, he's going to be at an advantage, an advantageous state. Shattergangs could be something. I kind of like Vivictus as that kind of crazy idea for bugs where he attacks and then each player loses something because he's destructive in nature. That's my cat touching thing again. He's down here, getting pet by me. I'll show her off. Fishy. So you could say Vivictus kind of works in that regard, because he is very destructive, and then that requires everyone to, oh, you got to get something random from your bags, your toon bag to try to stop bugs, right? Which is kind of funny. Your life total is this. Less than or equal to half your starting life. Flexible whenever or not. Oh. Now we're getting to like the ones that I just wouldn't really go for. Maybe you want to drop the black, but honestly, if we were going black, out of all of them, I kind of think Vivictus fits bugs. Not the flying. The flying is kind of just there, although bugs defies the laws of nature all the time. But that concept of just requiring everyone to just play with his rules kind of fits. He's just like, I'm going to attack and destroy your stuff. Which he does a lot. Just constantly messing with his enemies. And because he messes with them, their stuff gets destroyed, right? So Vivictus works. I would... And, like, Vivictus' goal in the end is to outwit his enemies, and so... Sacrifice a permanent this way, reveals the top card of the library, then puts it on the battlefield as a permanent card. So he's outwitting them because his deck is mostly permanents, allowing him to kind of, like, get more stuff out on the field while they might not get stuff out on the field. And you've got bigger, crazier stuff that they got, so they get something smaller. Thantis, though, really pushes Bug's idea of, like, violence, where like everyone's attacking you. You see bugs, you're after him. And I think Thantis is like, no, you're gonna be after me. You're attacking me. And that might fit bugs too. Like on site, people are after him. More so than like Yurlock, who's like, I think Yurlock kind of fits. I think overall though, I think I just fit Thantis. I think Thantis really fits Bug's need to... Oh, I love when that happens. Great. Let me fix this. Give me a second. Especially when it's in the middle of a video. Please. Apologies for that glitch. I don't know why my computer does it, but it whenever a video pops up on my main screen, it moves everything to the main screen. But that's the idea. That is what we do for the game. You look at, or for building these types of decks, okay? You're looking at bugs, finding his color, actively choosing how many colors you want, because I think you can make an argument for most people to be 3 colors. If you can't, like, find the one color they are and then see if you can add more, because adding more colors is more fun to a point, in my opinion. Building decks are more fun when there's 3 colors. 4 gets a little too much, and 2 is fine, but 1 is boring sometimes. Unless they just really identify with that one idea, right? Then you want to find out what their nature is, what they do, how they act, and from there you move on to figuring out their goals in their show, or in their show, their life, their game, whatever is. And then you build the deck around it, okay? And you try to find cards that kind of fit the idea with the character. So like with bugs, you want to add more chaotic cards. Anything that makes the game a little bit more chaotic, forces people to be more aggressive, just kind of changes the nature of the game, right? If you if you compare that to like something like the #1 villain here by a lot, Joker, you get like an interesting idea. Like, what would Joker be, right? You want to sit down there and you want to look at the colors and go, well, Joker is definitely amoral. So he's selfish, very selfish. He's chaotic. He doesn't really care much about nature. I don't know if I mean, he is independent. He doesn't have any order, but he is logical, right? You could argue that Joker in many sense is just sans white. He is the lack of order and morality, right? And so, like, because Joker's not dumb. He's very heavily intelligent. That's one of the scariest things about the Joker. It's just Batman's smarter, right? So you could say, because Joker is independence and instinct, rivaling instincts, you could say he's just sans white. So he's 4 colors. So if you were doing him, you'd want to go to EDH Rec, look at the 4 color commanders that are sans white. I think there's like 1. Right? I think there's, is there just 1? No, don't screw me. Let's use Scryfall then. Scryfall will not screw me. If you look for just sans white. Go. I missed a color, I missed it. Yeah, you just totally fits the idea of the Joker in and out of itself too. Just this wild but intelligent individual trying to outwit your enemies, right? If you wanted to drop a color, you could probably drop green, giving you access to a lot of choices. But that'd be the idea, right? Because the Joker is anything but white. If anything, you could drop green, and then his goals in life is to just drive Batman crazy, and how he goes about that is by throwing chaos and having these elaborate plans trying to thwart Batman. No, just stay back there. Why you gotta come up here? Why you gotta come up here and make all this sitting right next to me? Okay, fine. She just wants to be next to me. That's okay. And then someone like Batman is the opposite of Joker, right? He is logical, moral, got his own order, and he's definitely... Is he selfish? He could be banned. Not banned. I don't remember what colors that would be. Esper. That's what it is. He could be Esper. I could see him being like, he is kind of selfish because his need for justice overweighs everyone else. So you could definitely make him an Esper character. If anything, he's just a lack of chaos. So you could make him sans red, which would be kind of interesting. But characters, Mario, spoilers, is the character I did for this week. He's the first one I've done, and I like him in a lot of ways for Commander. I found a good fit that works with auras, because when I thought Mario, I thought Totem, or Umbra, they're called now, Umbra. armors because they're like power-ups that disappear when you get hit, so it fit so well. And his goal is to save the princess in every game. And for him, I definitely did like a Naya thing because he's got some type of morality. He's definitely impulsive and he's an independent person. So that kind of really, he relies on his instincts to kind of win. So stay tuned for that. And then Kakashi is the next one I'm doing. I started building his deck. Well, I mean, unless people vote, otherwise I'm gonna people. If anyone wants to vote, I don't think people will vote, but you know. But Kakashi is interesting. I went for more of a. Where did I go for him? I think Bant. Yeah, I went Bant because he's not chaotic or impulsive, and he's not immortal. So, but those are like the ideas, right? But I thought it'd be fun to just kind of go through like the top 10 and just look at them to see who might come up next. Doing one over Scooby-Doo would be kind of interesting. I think that'd be fun. As a character, one that wants to find clues and stuff. Hank Hill just needs votes needed. New list. But Tom the Cat would be interesting to do. Jerry the Mouse, yeah. I don't know if I could do Tom and Jerry by themselves. I have to do them as like a partner pairing. That was what I almost did with Mario's. I almost did Mario and Luigi, but Snoopy. This is a really interesting list because this has a lot of old people being popular because I guess people do that. SpongeBob being 6 makes sense. It's like the new kid on the block. He's not actually new, but you know what it is, right? Bad. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Daffy would be interesting to do. Goofy, Mickey Mouse, Donald. There's a handful. Homer and Wiley, Shaggy, Winnie the Pooh, Bart. None of these are like. These are all a lot of Kermit, yeah. So you're getting a lot of classic animal guys. Spider-Man, no. Spider-Man, you're not I mean, I guess he is in cartoon, but... Dude, like... Not a single new one? Why? Why all the old stuff? I mean, Scoots... I mean, here's the thing. I love the greatest cartoons in TV history, right? I guess, yeah, the newer stuff aren't really considered that good. But I like doing these older cartoons anyway. But comic books is great, right? So, like, if you look at the top 4 here, getting Joker, Magneto is great, would be great to build. Doctor Doom is fun. Thanos, very popular. Lex Luthor, interesting. With Thanos, you almost want to wait for the Infinity Stones to just be... So here's the thing, we're getting Marvel stuff, so that's going to make doing Marvel things a little bit outdated. But Lex would be fun. I don't know if we'll ever get DC stuff, but Darkseid would be fun. Green Goblin. Oh, see, we have a Green Goblin, right? So you might be like, why not just run Green Goblin? I'm like, well, what if... Nah, see, and that's the thing, I just don't think I can. Like, it almost makes this kind of redundant to try to do because we're getting this stuff. Right? So I almost want to focus more on DC stuff because we haven't had any DC announcements, and I don't think we will. Because, like, Spider-Man is here, but we're getting an entire Spider-Man set, so do you really want to... This is the commander you could run, not just run Spider-Man, right? But Wolverine, we have a Wolverine, right? We have a Deadpool. We have a Captain America. We have an Iron Man. We have a Thor. We don't have a Flash, so I don't know if DC will ever get into there. So maybe I just focus on those, because, again, you can't really, do that. Video games are kind of cool. I don't think we'll ever get video games as much in there. Pikachu getting... See, this thing, we have a Sonic now, right? We have a Lara Croft as well. Wow. We don't have a Pac-Man or a Master Chief. We don't have Link, and Nintendo is pretty safe to do. We're never getting Nintendo stuff. If we do, that'd be crazy. But Crash would be fun, and Kratos would be cool. And then anime. I don't know if they'll ever touch anime. It's such a not... They did Hatsune Miku, but they didn't give us actual commanders for them individually. They're just covers, right? So you get like Levi, Itachi, Naruto, Killua, Nora, Zoro, Luffy, Minato. You know, Saitama would be fun to do. Jiraiya would be interesting. Aaron. Yeah, Edward Elric would be super fun. Yeah, like I think anime would really help fit a lot of stuff. I almost want to avoid comic books. Well, okay, overall, I'm definitely just gonna avoid Marvel comics. But I think it's a fun idea to push really fitting these characters from other properties into Magic the way we used to. You know, we used to go, oh, I want to like what my favorite character. Let's just go random down here, right? Who's 29? A lot of people freaking hate Goku. That's how you know, yeah, that they're low. I'm trying to find. Okay, yeah, let's go Lelouch. You really like Code Geass. You want to make a Lelouch v Britannia commander. You're like, I'm never gonna get this, right? They're not doing this type of stuff. They are now, but you know, you're never gonna get this. But the idea here is to go, let's take Lelouch and make it a commander because you like Lelouch. So you take his personality, you take his ideology, his goals, his wants, his characteristics, you boil them all down into colors, and you find a commander that fits him, right? Someone that can command people to do stuff and just really fits that idea. Like Lelouch is definitely like a Bant commander, right? He's not chaotic, he's not individualistic, he's oh, is he Bant? No, because Bant would be order. He doesn't kind of have, he's more independent. I'd almost go red, blue, or green, blue, black, right? And then you go here and you're like, okay, yeah, we want to do a green, blue, black commander. I would use EDH Rec because it'll show you some of them that aren't just the 3 colors. But you want one that can kind of take control. I sort by EDH Rec usually. You want one that really fits the idea of control, right? And that is where I already had one in mind. Wasn't the colors what? There's a band. I think there's a band. Hey. Control. Okay. So after looking through them, if you were going to make Lelouch, I think the thing that sticks out most to me for him is not just his intelligence, but his ruthlessness and cunningness and stuff, and his ability is to steal or to force people to do stuff. And in Magic, the best way option of that is taking control or gaining control of a creature you're opponent. And so that idea would probably be between Dragon Lord Silumgar, where he's just intelligent and ruthless, and when he enters, you get to steal creature or planeswalker for as long as you control him. And what's cool about Dragon Lord Silumgar is that it also gives you flying and death touch, which kind of fits the mech kind of concept. But then also, it has an interesting ideology that the best way to play Dragon Lord Silumgar is to run clones. And if you've seen Code Geass, if you haven't, spoilers I guess, but there's like multiple fake zeros at the end, and that kind of is a callback there. But if you wanted to give him white, because he does have a moral code, even if it's just his own moral code, it's weird to be amoral but also moral, but like your moral code includes sacrificing others. Mirik works, and you can control target creature as long as you control it. I'm gonna read the actual stuff here. But it doesn't untap during an untap step, and you can tap it to gain control of target creature for as long as you control Marique Ray Barrett. When Marique leaves the battlefield or becomes untapped, destroy that creature. It can't be regenerated. So the cool thing is that you can throw away your pawns. You're like, I need you. I don't need you anymore. Let's go for something. And it doesn't untap during attack. You just find ways to. So interesting, because you could just keep going. You could just use it to annihilate a bunch of people. If you have ways to ways to untap, or you can just go like tap, steal, untap, it's gone. Tap, steal, untap, it's gone. Which would just be like Luceng shooters or something like that, right? Interesting concept, but I think Marique works a little better in that regard. He also works with clones as well, because getting multiple her allows you to tap, and that's kind of interesting in that regard. So I do like Marique for him. That's like what we're aiming for here when looking for a commander for these creatures, these characters, right? We're looking to fit a hole, and then build a deck that feels like it. Okay, and I'll give you more of that when I show the decks off, but that's what you're going to be seeing. I really don't know what else to bring up at this point. There's so much backs and forths. Again, I'm gonna avoid Marvel for the most part, so I might just look at best DC characters. Let me see if I can find that list. That cleans that up a little bit, just because, again, they already have the rights to do Marvel. We're gonna be seeing them, and my goal is to just not really copy what they're doing. It's to show off another fun concept in Magic the Gathering and building decks. And so yeah, here you're getting stuff like Joker, Lex, Darkseid, Deathstroke could be really cool, Bane, Professor Zoom, right? Sinestro, Brainiac, Two-Face, Riddler. There's a few, but there's a lot that you could definitely make out with that, or make off of that. And the other ones being heroes, so Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Nightwing, Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Flash, Wally West, Martian Manhunter, Robin. So yeah, there's a handful here that would be kind of cool. And again, a lot of people might state that, what's the point? Like, why would you make videos off of characters like this? Like, what's the point of making, not videos, but what's the point of making a deck based off of Batman, right? Why not just wait for Batman to come out? What if Batman doesn't? What if they never get the rights to DC because they don't want to, or they can't for multiple different reasons? Someone else owns the rights to their cards or something. And even if they do, cool, now you have Batman, and my video is still not obsolete. That's still a way to play a Batman character in the game. Okay? So, yeah. That's what I'll be doing going forward. So you still get deck text, and mind you, these will still be good deck text. They're still like, this is a good deck. Okay? It's a themed deck, but I'm still focusing on making it good. I'm not just trying to make a themed deck so poignant that it's bad, right? So, you still see the good stuff for that card. It's just going to be based off of a character. Let me know what you guys think down below. This is a quick, short one.